We are now having another session, part of Startup Festival 2022. With me on stage, I have Tamas and Janos. They will be talking to us as they are from SuperChrager Ventures, and they will be launching their EdTech accelerator. The floor is yours.
Hello. Hi, everyone. It's always difficult to compete with lunch. So, bon appetit, everyone, and hello, Malta. To break the ice, I have an idea. It's a startup festival. And we've been trying to order gunshots for our presentation, but it was not possible. So my idea to everyone, if you want to build an app to order the gunshots, I think that would work very well. But anyway, here, Janos and myself, we're co-founders of SuperCharger Ventures. Janos, why don't you introduce yourself first, and then I'll go.
So, as I mentioned, I'm one of the co-founders of SuperCharger Ventures. I've been an entrepreneur for the last 10 years, previously building fintech ecosystem in Asia. We got 3 unicorn out of us, 49 companies. And now we decided, together with Tamas, to build the single biggest EdTech ecosystem in the world.
And I'm Tamas. My background is in banking and finance, actually. I was in investment banking for 20 years, moved into EdTech 5 years ago, never looked back. Absolutely love the space. And let's just mention also to our third co-founder, Alessandro, who is based in Singapore. So there's 3 of us who started this together. So who are we? Who is SuperCharger Ventures? We are an impact-driven accelerator, investor, and content creator with the goal that we set to improve the life of 1 billion people, billion students, and equally importantly, educators globally.
And this goal is for us to be the biggest single ecosystem. Our vision is to have about 1,000 companies that we will have accelerated or invested in next 2 years. And we are on track to deliver this with over 83 portfolio companies in less than a year and a half.
So how do you start impacting the life of 1 billion people? We heard the speech before. It's a long journey. So we started on helping startups. This is how we started out. So the core of the first step and core of our business was pure accelerator, startup accelerator. Just in 2 years, we've scaled extremely fast, and currently we have already 83 alumni in our cohort. So that puts us in a place of the largest EdTech-only accelerator globally in just 2 years. So a bit more about our startups. And can anyone recognize among these logos one startup who is already in Malta? Did anyone spot anyone from here? I can see someone. So it's the Exxon Park. Maybe you have seen them in the entry hall, an amazing VR/AR startup. But there are others as well who are here, and we will be introducing you a bit later. So we, as we mentioned, 83 startups so far in our portfolio. Our model is we take equity, so we become partners and stakeholders into these startups, which is very, very important because it means that we have a vested interest we are family, we're helping them and along the whole journey. So that's where we started. But why do these startups come to us? What does an accelerator do? Well, as an example, we built a partnership with 15 leading business schools and universities, and it's growing fast, helping them with their innovation. The names speak for themselves: Bocconi, EdTech, ESADE, Luis Instituto di Empresa. As you can see, it's moving so fast. It's 11 in the presentation, it's 15 now. And we provide them with 7,000 EdTech solutions that we have in our database. So that's on universities, but that's not just universities. And similarly to this event here, we're building a full-fledged ecosystem, including the education institutions, but also corporates, investors, ecosystem partners like WISE, other accelerators, government institutions, not to mention of course, Malta Enterprise as one of our key partners. So, and also much of what we do is content creation, and Janos will be talking about it. And I'll hand it over to him to explain much more about the content and also what we do in Malta. Thank you.
So now we're in front of you, and we're in front of you for one reason. We already have one startup in Malta, it's Axon Park. They're one of the leading EdTech company providing a capacity of learning in the multiverse. And we want to bring way more company. But we realize that in order to supercharge an ecosystem, you don't just need the startup, you need knowledge. Knowledge in order for people to understand what is the opportunity of using technology in education, what is the opportunity to invest in companies, what is the opportunity to partner with startups. And the single best way for us to do that at scale, because we want to accelerate 1,000 company, is to create the world's biggest online course on education technology. And we're now going to be showing you a short trailer of this with world-class leader. And all of you here today, if you want to have access to the course, you'll be able to do so by scanning the code. So the video is going to load up, and as it loads up, I'm going to keep on explaining you the reason why we've done that. The reason why we've done that is partnering with startups is not a natural exercise. The capacity for startups to work with a corporate needs to be explained. Technology in something as traditional as education is something that needs to be nurtured into people so that we know exactly when we're going to be putting this company in front of that corporate. And so as soon as we'll now be playing it, and you should be able to hear the sound, you'll be able to hear from world-class leader on why they're doing this with SuperCharger.
Education has changed forever. 2020 has been the pivotal moment at which traditional education began to undergo real disruption.
EdTech isn't just about shifting education and training online. In reality, it's what education is becoming.
We had originally forecast EdTech to be a $1 trillion category in the 2030s. Now we see it at 2027, which should be approaching the $1 trillion categories.
Education very, very much matters, and so material innovation will not occur in any industry unless you have connected people, connected data, connected ideas.
In education, as in every other business, if you want to not only do what you do very well, but if you want to improve, then you need to be looking at technology solutions.
The reason they should care about EdTech is because EdTech is here to stay.
And why is EdTech important? Because EdTech is the way that you can drive that skills transformation.
Startups that successfully unbundle education and build a large user base can then start adding more product and services to become a full-fledged institution.
With the EdTech evolution, what we are seeing is the entire thesis of lifelong learning is becoming more and more relevant.
In other words, if we're thinking about education and AI, we need to be thinking about education from the standpoint of helping people prepare.
AI is going to increasingly become routine, to be honest with you, in education.
What's even more exciting is that this is really just the beginning. The sector is finally booming, and for all the right reasons.
And so here what that course showed you is a short overview of the opportunity around education technology. Who did you see? Some of them are acquired company for a few hundred million. Some of them are the largest VC fund in education technology. Some of them are the leading universities globally implementing technology in their pedagogy. But the reason why we need to do this, and we're going to be doing this from Malta. This is SuperCharger development of its knowledge hub in Malta. Everyone knows that knowledge is power, but there's one more thing that brings power. It's action. It's a clear blueprint of being able to execute on a vision to educate a market at scale in order for the startup not to have to do that market awareness piece when they raise money or they close deals. Our capacity of action is going to be around 4 pillars that we're going to be developing out of the island, thanks to the help of Malta Enterprise. First, the online course that we talked about. The online course is already now the biggest online course on EdTech in the world. We have done that with a global leading university, and all of you here can have access to it if you want to understand about the potential of this. The second one is reading. There wouldn't be education if there wasn't for book. And so we've decided to totally disrupt the way books are being done by crowdsourcing the first book on education technology in the world that has over 30 different offers from around the world. Finally, fellowship, education around entrepreneurship, how to pitch, why to pitch, how to raise, where to go, who to go to, how to actually develop a marketing strategy. We can do that at scale. Why do we need to teach entrepreneurship in a physical location when there's thousands of startups that want to transform education? And this will be the fellowship that we'll have. And finally, things like here, events. People in a tech world is what is needed for a spark to happen. And so as we'll come to the island, of course, we'll look at scalability of our knowledge, but we'll make sure of one thing, that the human connection remains in order for a real ecosystem to be able to develop itself. So, what can you expect from us? Well, you'll be able to discover some of the biggest trends that is totally transforming the way education is being delivered. But first is the use of artificial intelligence. We have brought one of the company here called iGolf. They use artificial intelligence in order to improve the way you, for example, playing golf. It's another way of being teaching sport. Virtual reality. Axon Park is perhaps one of the leading examples of a virtual reality startup that is totally changing the way people will consume content at scale. Gamified learning, Empowerment Lab, another company that realized that pedagogy, in order to be successful, needs to be engaging. And finally, lifelong learning. Today at that conference, what we have learned, beyond the fact that we're totally being blown out from this wind behind me, is the fact that we always need to understand that we don't know what we don't know. And if you don't challenge yourself every single year on how you can become a better version of yourself, you will not be able to achieve your goals. And lifelong learning is perhaps the fourth trend that all of us will agree, that is the power of education and the future of EdTech. So, if you want to talk to us, as said, we are building the Knowledge Hub out of Malta. It is being totally dramatic right now, so I will stop here. You can scan the QR code if you do not have time to meet, and otherwise we'll be over there. But it would be a real pleasure to see all of you on how we can supercharge the EdTech ecosystem in Malta. Tamas?
Before we finish, I just wanted to say a huge thanks to our friends and partners at Malta Enterprise. We've been really impressed by how professional the whole process was, and we watch this space. We're really excited to be here, and we hope to do much more in the upcoming months and years. And as a last one, well done for whoever built this tent, because it's still here, which is quite impressive. So thanks everyone, and we'll be here to mingle if you have questions.
Thanks everyone.